Hey, what's going on, guys? Should be starting up right now. Super excited. We got the NBA Finals. We have a millionaire maker as well here. So, really excited to break this one down. If you guys are new to the channel, if you're new to the live stream and you enjoy the content, we'd really appreciate if you'd hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's jump into the breakdown here. So we're still waiting on both the starting lineups for both teams at the moment. So that is a little bit tricky that we don't have that yet. I'm kind of surprised. I've been refreshing Fantasy Labs here. Still don't see anything yet. Oh, there's the Heat starting lineup. Dragic, Butler, Robinson, Crowder, and Bam. Nothing crazy there. The one I want to see is the Lakers starting lineup, just because I'm curious if they go back to Dwight in the starting lineup or not. So try to keep an eye on that as I go with the breakdown. And let's see. What's up, guys? What's up, Cam? Good to see you, man. Heat lineup is out. Yep, just went over that one. So. I guess we can just jump into it. Again, we have 30 minutes, a bunch of time. I'll start at the top, go to the bottom, kind of talk about each player, and then kind of give you guys what I'm thinking if you're playing cash game setting, or if you're just going for the floor, if you're playing GBP, if you're playing the Millie Maker, are you trying to just make the best possible lineup, or are you trying to win it solo? If you're trying to win it solo, you're definitely going to have to get very different, whether that be take a shot on someone cheap in the captain, or leave a bunch of salary on the table. So let's do it. We'll start at the top here. LeBron James, 13,200 in the utility spot. Both Lakers guys are going to be popular, obviously, just because, I mean, again, you know where the offense is coming from. It's these two guys, LeBron, AD. LeBron has been a lot better than AD, last 3 games at least. He had a crazy triple-double, 38, 10, and 16. The price is up on LeBron compared to Anthony Davis. He's at 13.2. AD is at 12K. Now, the concern with Anthony Davis is the rebounding, right? Only 2, 5, and 5 rebounds. And basically, he's playing 40 minutes a game. That is concerning. And I think, Dwight being in the starting lineup, if he is, does hurt Anthony Davis's rebound upside a bit. So that does worry me a little bit. Now, LeBron is going to be more popular, I think, even at the elevated price point, just because that most recent game, right? People are going to look at that 79 fantasy points. I think people are gonna lean towards LeBron over AD if they're gonna pick one. And I agree. I think LeBron is probably a little bit safer, but that doesn't mean AD can outscore him. AD can easily outscore him, and like I said, the upside is very similar on these guys. And when we have that discount, for me, I slightly prefer Anthony Davis. I think the ownership might be a little bit lower than LeBron, and again, the $1,200 difference. It's a close call. Of course, you can play both these guys, right? There's enough value in the slate to do that if that's the direction you want to go. I don't necessarily think you have to play both. Now, if I was playing a cash game setting, I think I would play both, just because I think for cash that's probably the right move with these two guys. You just know where that offense is coming from. It literally runs through these two guys basically the entire game. So that's kind of the breakdown there on LeBron and AD. I don't necessarily think you have to play both. I definitely think you should play at least one, though, right? I wouldn't fade both unless you think Miami just absolutely blows them out. But I wouldn't do that. I would play at least one of these guys for sure, possibly 2. I definitely think you can get both of them in there. We do have Dwight starting. Okay, good. So that is. Let me refresh this really quick. Thanks for letting me know in the chat, guys. Dwight Howard will remain in the starting lineup. Okay, LeBron, KCP, Green, Davis, and Howard. So that is a little bit easier that we have Dwight now in the starting lineup. I feel a little bit more comfortable playing him now that he's starting at least. Now, Dwight is a guy that is in foul trouble a lot, right? He is a guy that has fouled out in 15 minutes before. So that is a concern, but it makes him a lot more viable now that he is starting. He played well there against Denver, so how many minutes does he get is more in question. Again, I'll go over that once I get to Dwight. But it's good to see that he's starting. I feel a little bit more comfortable targeting him. All right, so let's get to the top 2 guys here from Miami with Bam and Jimmy Butler. Right, Bam's at 10.6. He's been a little bit better, a little more consistent than Jimmy. He had the 59 fantasy point game. He's a guy that I think does have a little bit of a higher floor compared to Jimmy Butler. Now, sure, right, he's going to be on Anthony Davis a good amount. There's definitely some foul trouble risk. But he, against Milwaukee, when Giannis was healthy, he did a good job of basically staying out of foul trouble. So sure, that is in the back of my mind that he's going to have to guard AD a lot. So if you want to play that route, again, build your lineups how you think that the game goes, right? If you think Bam Adebayo gets some foul trouble, then obviously fade him, right? And then you can go to maybe some value guys, Iguodala, maybe Kelly Olynyk gets playing time this series. We don't know for sure. So either way, though, I think I do. If without taking price into consideration, I do prefer Bam to Jimmy. But then if we take price into consideration, 10.6 to 9.2, it makes it a really, really close call, right? Jimmy Butler is one of those guys that, again, hasn't had as much upside as Bam, but he is a guy that can go for 50. He does take over games at times, but at times he will sit back and defer offensively too. That's the issue with these Miami guys, is they are a little bit more of a balanced team, right? Dragic, Hero, Bam, Jimmy, all guys that can take over. Dunk can get hot behind three-point line. Jay Crowder can hit threes. So they're more spread out, whereas the Lakers, it's LeBron, it's Anthony Davis. So that's the tricky part there with Bam versus Jimmy. Who do I prefer? Again, I think I still slightly prefer Bam for the extra $1,400, but that's also close, just like it's close with LeBron and AD. You're going to have to make tough calls in the slate, but that's what makes it fun. If you're making one lineup, if you're making multiple lineups, obviously, you can get exposure to all the guys, basically. So that's really my thoughts there with the main two guys on Miami. The next two guys here with Dragic and Hero have been really, really good in the playoffs. Both these guys, Dragic, the minutes have been a little bit up and down on him, right? 28, then 39, then 36, then 30. Did not close that game, which does worry me a little bit. He's a guy that's been really, really, really solid. He's a do-it-all guy with the rebounding, with the assists, with the scoring. The price is, we're not getting him an amazing discount, but you could say the same thing about Tyler Hero. These two guys, in my opinion, are similar plays, right? I expect probably a little over 30 minutes for both these guys with upside for more, right? And both are similar. Tyler Hero has been playing better than Dragic recently. I think he will be more popular. He's also a little bit cheaper. He did have that 119 fantasy point floor game against Boston. Doesn't worry me a whole lot. Like, other than that, he's been really, really solid. So, these two guys, I guess more in the mid-range, I think are decent plays. Both are pretty similar. Again, plays for me. Both, I think, get a little over 30 minutes. Both are do-it-all guys. The price points are very fair in both. Who do I prefer? I think I slightly prefer Hero just because that's a little bit biased, right? I've been playing him so much, but I do really like Tyler Hero's game. But I think both guys are certainly doable in the mid-range. Now, Duncan Robinson at 6'8", it just feels a little bit too much. He can still get you there at the price, for sure. But, man, he jumped almost $2,000 from 5K to 6.8K, and there's no guarantee of those minutes, right? He is a guy that his minutes fluctuate a whole lot. If you saw in the Milwaukee series, he would play minutes in the teens and in the 20s and into the high 30s against Boston, right? He was in foul trouble here, 14, 17, but then 32, 28, 23, 37, 34. So what are the minutes going to be like for Duncan? That is a question. My best guess, if I had to guess, I would say 28 to 30 minutes. Definitely makes him viable, but I think I would just rather get to Dragic and Hero because those guys do a little bit more, right? Whereas Duncan, you're really relying on the scoring for him. He did have 6 rebounds last game, more of an outlier. So, sure, no one's out of play on the slate, but Duncan's a guy that if you're making one lineup, I don't think I would get to him. He's a guy that if you're making a bunch of lineups, I would go underweight just because the floor is kind of low. His minutes do vary, and if he's struggling shooting the ball, like he did here against Boston, 0 of 5, only 23 minutes and only 11 fantasy points, right? So the floor is low on him. Again, not out of play. He's a guy that can get hot behind the three-point line, but you're really relying on the three-point shooting. Dawsey with the $2 super chat. Thank you, dude. Really, really do appreciate that. People that play Cash and Showdown slate, sit while they pee. Good one, man. People do still play cash games on the Showdown slates. Not my style, but I know a lot of people do. We are at 200 viewers right now in live stream. Again, guys, one more time, if you enjoy the content, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. All right, so let's talk about this next range of guys. Now we're getting into the cheaper range. Jay Crowder at 6'2". I think Jay Crowder's a pretty nice play here in the mid-range. What we're going to get is we're going to get about 30 minutes from him. He's a guy that, besides that one game where he only had 13 fantasy points, normally has a pretty high floor, right? He had 32 fantasy points for 4 straight games. Another guy that doesn't necessarily have to score the ball. He's a guy that can get you some blocks and steals. I think they will need him defensively out there. Whether that be on LeBron or maybe on AD at times. Again, he's a solid defender. So I think we get about the same as we got in the Boston series, about 30-ish minutes. I think his range of outcomes is probably 20 to like mid-30s. Again, I would say a floor of about 20 with upside for mid-30s. So I think he does make for a pretty good play here in the mid-range. And I think he won't be super popular. So I do have interest there in Jay Crowder. I also like Rondo here. My concern, I talked about in my video, is what are the minutes going to be like? Well, only 13 the last game, right? Another guy, kind of like Duncan Robinson, the minutes fluctuate big time. What are they going to be like for Rajon Rondo, right? If you just go through his recent games, 21, then 30, then 22, then 13. So he's a really good point per minute guy. I talked about it in my video a bit too. If I knew he was going to play close to 30 minutes, I would lock him in at this price. I think he has that upside. But the floor on minutes I think is somewhere around like maybe high teens. So if he only plays like 18 minutes, I wouldn't be as excited about it. So this is a tricky one, right? If he does get extended, if he gets his 25 to maybe even close to 30 minutes, I think he will crush this salary. So I do like Rondo a good amount. I'm just a little bit worried with how many minutes does he get. Now, Dwight Howard, insert when we know he's starting, right? So he played 35 minutes that last game against Denver. I don't think we get that again. How many minutes does he get here is the big question, right? Because they really needed his defense to guard Nikola Jokic. Do they need his defense to guard Bam? I don't know, right? I think they can go AD at the 5, so and they still can use JaVale McGee too. It makes me feel more comfortable targeting him that he's starting, but I still don't have a good feel on his minutes. I think he could play somewhere between my best guess for Dwight Howard's minutes. I would say like mid to high teens. I would say like 15 to 20. I would say from Dwight, but another guy that's always in foul trouble. There's definitely a chance he can get some foul trouble here. He is a good point per minute guy, but another guy kind of like how many minutes are going to get Dwight? I think maybe hit his ceiling for minutes, 25-ish. I don't think he'll play more. Again, I could be wrong, but I would say probably a ceiling of 25. My best guess probably mid-teens to maybe 20 in minutes. And again, he's a good point per minute guy, but are they going to really utilize him a ton here? I don't know. Then we get to KCP and Danny Green. These guys are almost identical plays. They're 3-and-D guys. You know what you're getting out of them. They have to hit their threes. The floor is low, right? KCP, the last game, 26 minutes, 6 fantasy points. Well, he didn't shoot any threes, didn't hit any threes. He had a 4. These other games where he had over 20 fantasy points, he hit some threes. So really, you're relying on him hitting the threes. But him, Danny Green, I think probably gets somewhere around 25 to 30 minutes. I think they're perfectly fine value options here. With them compared to Dwight, who do I prefer? Again, that's a tricky question, right? Because how many minutes are we going to get out of Dwight? We kind of know what we're getting out of KCP, out of Danny Green, but Dwight is more the unknown, at least for his minutes. So you're going to have to make a tough call there with the value. I think all three look pretty good with Green, Dwight, and KCP. Again, Green, kind of the same thing. I think we get probably mid-20s minutes. Now, he have a little bit lower floor minutes-wise, right? He had 20 and 21, whereas KCP, the floor for his minutes have been like 25. So, yeah, I guess I do slightly prefer KCP just because the minutes floor thing is a little bit higher in Green, but both are very similar plays. Kuzma is an interesting play here at 3.8. I wasn't super excited about it, but the price point just makes him playable. He's a guy that's been struggling. He's a good shooter, though, and can get hot. And I think if he does get hot, he can play like 25-ish minutes. And the upside for him, I would say, would be mid-20s to maybe 30. So another value play, I think, is certainly in play. Again, he's almost in the same territory as KCP and Danny Green. Just plays probably a few less minutes, but is a little more productive in those minutes. So another value guy that you can definitely consider. I don't have an issue with him. Now, Iguodala played really well the last game in 28 minutes. Shot the ball 5 of 5. I don't know if we get that again, but I do think the minutes will be there in him this series. Right? Miami basically ran a 7-man rotation the last game with Iguodala and Hero off the bench. And Iguodala obviously has the finals experience. I think it's 6 straight finals. They can use him defensively, right? That's kind of what they have him out there for anyway. I don't think he shoots that well again. So I think his ownership will be up. I'm okay getting away from him. I feel like I probably feel a little bit more comfortable with the scoring of like Kuzma or Green or KCP. But if you need someone cheap and you land in Iguodala, I do think he probably gets over 20 minutes in this one. 27, 19, and 28 the last 3 games. And I think they do need him defensively. If someone gets in foul trouble, right, if we get a Bam in foul trouble, if we get a Jimmy Butler in foul trouble, it's Iguodala that's coming in, right, unless it's like a point guard that gets in foul trouble. So I think Iguodala is definitely in play, but I don't know if he has as much upside as some of those other guys I did mention. Finally, Caruso, or not finally, we have a couple more guys to talk about. Caruso's at 3K. I like him. I think he's going to be popular. I'm fine with it, right? He's a guy that we're going to get 20 to 25 minutes. The Lakers like using him. He's good defensively. I think he probably gets somewhere between 10 to 20-ish fantasy points. And at this price, it just opens up a lot. So Caruso, like, I feel a little bit more comfortable with Caruso over Iguodala. If you want to go Iguodala over Caruso, that's fine. But I think I do slightly prefer Caruso. I think Caruso will be popular. From what I'm hearing, I think his ownership will be pretty high. But I do feel comfortable with him. Probably my favorite, like, really, really cheap play. A couple other guys to talk about here. Markieff Morris at 2.6. I think we're probably going to get 10 or so minutes, maybe 10 to 15. He's playable at this price. He does say he has had upside games. He had that game though against Houston when they played him a bit more. How many minutes does he get in this game is a little bit more in question. But again, my best guess probably 10 to 15 minutes. A viable dart throw. He's going to be low owned, but the price point makes him at least in play. Kelly Olynyk, a lot of people have asked me about him. What are the minutes going to be like for Kelly Olynyk? Well, is he even going to play? I don't know, right? I think, if Bam does get in some foul trouble, there's a decent chance Kelly O comes in. Or, do they just go to Iguodala or go to play small ball, right? I think that's also a possibility. So, another one that's tricky because Kelly O is a really good point per minute guy. He's listed at 2K. Am I fully confident that he's going to play? I don't know. If I knew Kelly Olynyk was going to play 15 minutes, I would lock him in at 2K. But, like I said, there's no guarantee. And some of those games against Boston down the stretch, they didn't play him. So, this is a really, really tough one. But if you're going for the super cheap play and you're going for the upside, Kelly Olynyk is the guy. Now, right, know the risks. There's still a good chance he doesn't play. There's a good chance maybe he only plays 5 or so minutes. But if everything goes right and he gets maybe 15 minutes, I think he will crush his salary. He's a really good point per minute guy, so it's all about the risk-reward factor there with Kelly Olynyk, and if you're willing to take the shot. JaVale McGee, not starting. I think maybe gets a rotation, maybe gets 5 to 6 minutes. At this price point, you really need like Dwight foul trouble or something crazy to happen. For me, it's not for me. I just don't see an outcome where we get enough minutes for JaVale McGee to make him viable. Derrick Jones Jr., kind of the same thing, right? Maybe plays, maybe doesn't. But if I'm going to take a shot on one of those cheap guys and hope he plays, it's going to be Kelly Olynyk, right? Because he's just the best point per minute guy of these really, really cheap guys. Solomon Hill, again, he's played a bit the last couple games, 7 and 5 minutes, but it's not enough for me to consider him on the slate at 1.4K. And that's really it, right? Does JR or none get in the rotation? I would say probably not. So Deion Waiters, is he even, I don't think he plays either. So I think that's really it for the player-by-player breakdown, guys. Let's see. Myers Leonard. Yeah, Myers Leonard is not going to play either. I'm just seeing. I guess we're not really waiting on any more news since we did get all the news we're waiting for. So let's talk about roster construction, right? It's tricky because in my builds, I'm getting a lot of 4 Lakers and 2 Heat, or 5 Lakers and 1 Heat. If you're playing both LeBron and AD, it kind of forces you into that build, right? So let's just say we play both those guys and you have 6.2K remaining. A lot of these Miami guys are near the top. So the cheap guy, or the cheap value plays, most of them are Lakers guys. So it does kind of force, let's just say we throw, Bam Adebayo in there too, 4.7K remaining. It kind of forces you to get the Miami or the Lakers value, right? Because you have Iguodala, viable, Olynyk, worth a dart throw, but it does. At least my builds, or when I was messing with roster construction, I got a lot of 4 Lakers and 2 Heat, or even 5 Lakers and 1 Heat. For a cash game setting, and I do think you play both LeBron and AD. I think getting to one of the main guys in the captain spot is definitely the safer way to go. Like whether that be LeBron or AD or Bam and a bio. Just because there is enough value, and normally, like most of the time in the GPPs, it is one of the stars in the captain that wins the lineup. Now, sure, can you go someone cheap in the captain spot? Yes, but they have to have a really, really good game. You can definitely do that for cash if you're just trying to beat 50% of the field. But if you're shooting for that GPP winning upside and you play someone cheap in the captain, you really, really need like a big game from them. So whether that be take a shot on Caruso or maybe Dwight Howard, Rondo, right? Rondo's the guy, at least in this price range. I like the upside a lot on him. It's just whether or not, does he get the minutes. So, yeah, I think that's really it for what I got. Again, if you're trying to win the Millie Maker alone, solo, you got to do something different. Whether that be, again, take a shot on someone cheap in the captain. Or I think you probably have to leave at least $1,000 on the table, maybe a little bit more, really, again, to try to differentiate yourself. So, that's what I got for the player-by-player breakdown, guys. So hit me up with some questions here, and let's get it. Load up on Miami tonight for the win. AD will be Giannis 2.0. Yeah, so again, with Dwight starting does worry me a bit with Anthony Davis and his rebounding. Thoughts on Dwight at captain? I think Dwight at captain is it's risky. It is. Like, I would not do that for cash games. How many minutes we're getting out of Dwight is a little bit more up in the air, right? He played 35. I don't think we're going to get anywhere close to that in this series. My best guess, probably 15 to 20 if he stays out of foul trouble. Maybe upside for 25. But again, do they really need him defensively? Do they? I don't know if they necessarily need him to guard Bam, whereas they really need him to guard Jokic. So it's a risky play. I'm fine with it, but I would not go or do that at all if you're going for safety, right? With Dwight and the captain. Now, like I said, he has had big games, 30 and 23 fantasy points the last couple games. So I do think Dwight's a pretty solid value play. Rondo captain for the win. I do like that. I do like Rondo the captain. Full disclosure, I don't have Rondo. I have him in my lineup. I don't have him at captain, but I do kind of like that. Who do we have winning? I'd say the Lakers, but I think it's gonna be a close game. Let's see. Who's your captain? I'm going a little bit contrarian, so I am going Anthony Davis at captain. Just because I think LeBron is going to be probably a lot more popular than Davis has struggled a bit. A Caruso or KCP, another tough one. I'll go Caruso for the discount, but that's close. Def putting Howard in captain spot, he's in Fuego. Fine, but again, I don't know. We're not going to get anywhere close to 35 minutes, in my opinion. I can already tell people we'll play the high-priced guys at captain, giving them bad risky options. Again, I think that's probably the way to go for GPPs. But let's see, Anthony Davis big game coming, low-owned AD for sure. Again, that's kind of my mindset. I don't think. I mean, obviously AD is going to be popular, but not as popular. I don't think as maybe a LeBron, Hero or Dragic. Again, that's a tough one. I'm going to go Hero for the discount. They're both very, very similar players, but right now, Hero's been a little bit better. It's tough, though. I think Hero will be a little more popular. AD and Dragic or Butler and Bam. For me, it's going to be AD and Dragic there. Hero, Dragic, again, it's Hero, but it's close. Who's your favorite GPP captain? Rondo. Thinking of putting Jason Hero. Okay, let's see. Jason Tatum. Thank God we don't have to talk about Boston anymore and their backup center rotation or Mike Malone and that rotation and trying to figure out who's going to play. I'm so happy I don't have to deal with that. Don't expect those Dwight. Yeah, again, I don't think we get even close to 35 minutes from Dwight. I'm rolling LeBron at captain, AD, Butler, Howard, Caruso, and Nunn. I don't know if Nunn plays, so I have this. Let's see. Dragic, I already answered that. How about Goran in captain spot? That's going to be contrarian. It is. But, I mean, Goran's a fine play. He's at a price that I think he does go. Goran at least goes a little bit overlooked just because you have the main studs at the top. I think Hero will get ownership in the mid-range. I think Rondo will get some ownership, and then you have some cheap options. So Dragic is just at that tricky price if we go to utility that I don't think he's going to be super, super popular, but he's a guy that can go for 40+, right? You went for 46 there against Boston. Like, I kind of like that as a contrarian play, at least in the captain. I have a feeling I took a shot in Kuzma. I mean, the Kuzma upside game, I feel like it's coming, right? I feel like it is. He's been terrible so far. Rondo or Dwight, for me, it's Rondo. Hero or Dragic are area answer. It's going to be Hero, guys, but it's close. Hero, too high price at this point. Is he, like, if you look at his fantasy points versus Hero, like, or versus Dragic, he's been, like, basically mid-30s every single game besides that one floor game. And, again, kind of the same with Dragic, right? So they're very, very similar. Hero's a little bit cheaper. I'll go Hero, but it's not really like a strong take. Lakers versus Heat, but somehow Cantor going to have 15 minutes on the bench. Yeah, right. When I play Robert Williams. When I play Cantor, it's Robert Williams that plays. Or they just go to Grant Williams. LeBron captain, Bam, Caruso. LeBron captain, Bam, Caruso, Crowder, Dwight, and Rondo. I think it looks good. How do you like this? Captain Jimmy, flex, Bam, Caruso, Howard, LeBron, Kuzma. I'm fading Iggy. Again, I don't think you have to play Iguodala. That's fine. I just changed mine to LeBron captain with AD, Butler, Dwight, Caruso, and Jay Crowder. I do like that. I think I like that a lot more. Iguodala or Caruso, close. For me, it's going to be Caruso. I do think Iguodala plays more minutes. He played really good last game. I don't think he shoots 5 of 5 again. I feel a little bit more comfortable with Caruso. Crowder or Rondo, safety, it's Crowder, right? I feel comfortable that Crowder's going to get about 30 minutes. Rondo's minutes are up in the air, but I do think Rondo has more upside if he gets those minutes. So safety, Crowder, Rondo is the risky upside play. Iggy, captain, and Rondo utility, or Dwight, captain, and Iggy utility. I think the first one, not super excited about Iguodala and the captain, but you're probably just jamming in the rest of the studs. I'm interested to see your line when it goes live. Yeah, again, I'm getting a little bit different, I guess, with Anthony Davis in the captain spot. At least, or guys, for the Millie Maker, there's not going to be a whole lot of overlay. There's about $6,000 left. What do you think about Captain Rondo, Flex, LBJ, Butler, Bam, Howard, Iguodala? I like that upside a lot, right? Like, that is potential GPP winning upside if Rondo does get the minutes. You just got to hope he does. Captain LeBron, Flex, Hero, Kuzma, Dragic, Crowder, and Caruso. Captain AD, LeBron, Crowder, Dwight, Pope, and Caruso. The other one I thought I said it wasn't possible. I like that too. I do. Do you think Captain, Captain Jimmy, Flex, Bam, Caruso, Rondo, LeBron, Kuzma? Yep. How does it look, DK? Captain Anthony Davis, utility Hero, Dragic, Rondo, Howard, and KCP. Yep, so that's a very, very similar build to what I got right now. I do like that. I think AD goes a little bit lower owned just because of the recent play, but I don't think he can. I mean, I know Dwight Howard in the starting lineup does hurt his upside a bit, but I don't think he continues to get that low of rebounds. Captain Rondo, let's see, LBJ, AD, Dragic, Howard, Caruso. I like that. AD on the way. Hopefully, man. I'm hoping for a big game for Anthony Davis. So I'm playing him the captain. Rondo or Dwight. I like the upside a little bit more on Rondo. Captain Dragic. Okay, so that is a little bit more contrarian. Flex, AD, LeBron, Howard, Kuzma, Caruso. Good with it. GL boys, get the millie. Yeah, good luck, guys. Again, really, really excited. We got a millie maker. Don't really know if we're gonna get any overlay here. I'm just looking for like other tournaments. Doesn't look like it. Let's see. Captain Dragic, utility LeBron, LeBron, Crowder, Rondo, Caruso, and Butler. Good with it, right? You got the floor. You got like the safe plays with Crowder. I think Jimmy and LeBron are obviously safe. Dragic's a little bit more of a contrarian captain, but I like that. And then Rondo, Caruso, I like their upside. Should I fade Rondo? I don't think you necessarily have to play Rondo, right? Because his minutes are a little bit more up in the air. But like I said, if Rondo does get close to like 30 minutes, I think he will crush his salary. It's just, does he get that? I don't know. So yeah, you don't have to play him. Thanks for the stream. Good luck, man. Yeah, of course. Captain Rondo, AD, LBJ, Butler, Kellyo, and Kuzma, right? So that's risky, but if you guys are fine with it, right? Kellyo's the guy that has the upside. It's just, whether or not does he get in the rotation? Does he get the minutes? We don't know. Captain Rondo, LBJ, AD, Dragic, Dwight, Caruso. I like that. Yeah, I like that upside a lot if Rondo does get those minutes. AD, Jimmy, Bam, Howard, Crowder, good with me. Captain LeBron, Butler, Crowder, Hero, Caruso, and Kuzma. I think that's safe. Yep. How does it look, DK? Didn't hear you at first. Okay, let's see. Captain Davis, Hero, Dragic, Dwight, Rondo, KCP. Yep, that's very, very similar to my build. I like that. Do you have Dwight? I do have Dwight. Thanks, man. Yep, of course. Dude, I have Taken out on golf today, and he was minus 8.75. GL. Yeah, good luck, guys. All right, so let's see if ownership is up. I can show you guys what I went with for my lineup. I only entered the Millie Maker. I did enter a couple of free tournaments, but that was it. I only played the Millie Maker. Um, ownership, yep, it's loading and usually does take a sec. Call me crazy. I'm running one line with no Bron or AD. Kind of crazy. You need something. You need something like really obscure to happen. I think you kind of need a blowout with Miami blowing them out, and then like someone else to step up for the Lakers, whether it be Rondo or like KCP or Danny Green get hot. I don't. I guess anything's possible. I don't. It's hard to see that working. Okay, so we got some ownership. Let's go over what I got. Again, I just play the Millie Maker, so we'll just go over what we got in the Millie Maker here. Yeah, so I went 80 in the captain. He's 63% owned. Bam Adebayo only 36% owned. I'll take Hero 29%, Rondo at 34%, Dwight at 36%, Caruso at 44% owned. So that's my lineup. I want 4 Lakers, 2 Heat. I like that Bam ownership, 36%. So I'm curious to see what we got for some other ownership here. I'm just going to scroll through other people's lineups. We have a Rondo captain. LeBron 76%. Right, so LeBron almost 15% more owned than Anthony Davis. Let's see, Iguodala coming at 33%. Another potential value. Markieff Morris 14%, a little bit higher than I thought. Jimmy Butler 55%. So looks like people are siding with LeBron. I'm not super surprised about it, right? Because LeBron over AD. LeBron had the big game last time. And people are siding with Jimmy over Bam for the discount. Fine. Again, I rolled Dwight, but that wasn't super strong take, right? You had to make some tough calls, at least with the guys at the top. Let's see if we got like any other ownership here. Duncan coming in at 14%. Yeah, I'm not surprised that. He is a little bit too pricey. Not saying he can't pay it off. Crowder 30%. I do like that. Right? Crowder's a safe play. Not really going to kill you. So I think that's perfectly fine. KCP 16% owned. Yeah, it's a little bit lower than I thought. I thought he'd be a little bit higher owned than that. Dragic 35% owned. So with Dragic versus Hero, again, another tough call there. I did slightly prefer Hero. Hero came out at 5% less ownership. Kuzma, 25% owned. So again, that price point definitely made him in play. Looks like people are buying Kuzma over like the other cheap Lakers with KCP and Danny Green. Just scrolling through to see if we got anyone else here, and then I'll get out of here. Derrick Jones Jr., 2%. Yeah, I'm fine getting. I don't think it's even worth taking a shot. If I was going to take a shot on someone that cheap, I would just go Kelly O, right? It says he has that upside. Does Derrick Jones Jr. really have that upside? Now, Kelly O, okay, coming in at 15% ownership. So people seem kind of comfortable that he's going to play. I don't think that's necessarily a guarantee, but and how many minutes does he get is a question too. But yeah, I'm fine with it, right? The upside is there on him. It's just the question of the minutes. So that's kind of it. I don't really think we're really missing anyone else, at least for ownership. It's a Kuzma 20. I hope Jimmy goes off 12.9% at captain. Kellyo 16%. Yep. People want crazy for Olynyk. I do think that ownership is a little bit high for no guarantee of him playing. Crowder 30%. I wonder what Nunn's ownership is. I would say Nunn's probably like Jones Jr. probably 2%. Morris 14.6, higher than I expected. I agree. I did not expect that high too. I would have expected Markieff Morris for somewhere around like the 5 to 8% ownership maybe. Dang, both the Heat studs wasn't popular at all. Are you doing the best balls this year, DK? If so, how are you doing? Oh, for NFL, yeah, I do have a best ball. I can show you it real quick, I guess. I only did one. If it loads, I think I'm in I'm in 6th place right now. My team's okay. Like I said, it only has week 1, but I have Deshaun Watson, Kamara, Waller, Cooper Kupp, James Conner, Drake. So I kind of went, my first 3 picks were the running backs of Conner, Drake, and Kamara, Watson, Kupp, Darren Waller. So yeah, I'm doing okay. Nothing crazy. Your lineup looked very similar to mine, DK. So let's have a good day. Hopefully, man. Yeah, I don't know what Nunn's ownership. I would say super, super low. OBJ wants a Finals MVP. Will go off every game. I took, LBJ is 75% owned, and I faded him. So it's a risk I'm willing to take. You got to get a little bit risky at least to try to win the Millie Maker. But All right, guys, I'm going to head out of here. Good luck tonight. Hope you guys all win some good money. And, yeah, I will see you guys all later.